Hello everyone. So now we are starting on our discussion. So give the heading of the new topic, that is Introduction to Big Data Techniques. Introduction to Big Data Techniques. Now, very important topic from the real life perspective. Means if I'm going to say you about that, now everything is relied on the data is the new asset which everyone is building. Means if I'll tell you like how Google is earning, they are earning based on our data. How Facebook is earning, they are earning through our data. Means they are collecting the data and then they are selling the data for their own personal uses. Clear? So it's not only about collecting the data, you have to analyze the data. Okay, now the data is so minuscule and it's of huge amount. Means these websites like Google or Facebook, they track even every minuscule of your life, where you are going, what you are searching, what are you thinking, what are you planning. Means they know everything about you. Okay, now so much of information is there in their database. Now what you need to do, you need to analyze the data, you need to process the data. Clear? So even in the finance industry, share market is trading. Okay, now you have to take the trade. Now you will analyze the data of the last 10 years. Now this last 10 years, even you want to know the data of every 1 minute. Means after 1 minute, what was the price? After each minute for the period of 10 years, what is the price? So you can see that there is going to be huge amount of data. Means the data is in millions and billions. Clear? Now you need to analyze just to take the call that what is going to happen the very next minute of it. What will happen in the very next minute of it. Clear? So we call it as a fintech. We call it as fintech. See, it is made up of two words. Fintech. Fin stands for finance. Fin stands for finance. Tech stands for technology. So now in finance, we are going to take the help of the technology so that we can gather the data and we can analyze the financial data. Clear? So the companies which are actually in the business of developing the technology for the finance industry, so these tech companies are known as fintech companies. Clear? What is their main aim? Their main functionality is to how to handle the large set of data, okay, which are coming from multiple sources and they are in multiple forms. Sometimes you will find out the data is in the binary form, sometimes the data is in the textual form, sometimes the data is in the numeric form. Okay, so there is a huge amount of data. How are you going to process it? Clear? So we have some tools and techniques such as artificial intelligence, with the help of which we are going to analyze this huge amount of data. Clear? Now if I'll term big data in front of you, write down big data. Okay, now what does this big data actually means? It means that there is a lots of information from many different places and that you are actually using to learn something and to make the decision. Okay, so it's not only about the numbers and the words from any business or government, but it also come from people and multiple things. Like I'll give you some example. There are people who post the pictures, some write the reviews, some visit the websites. So all of these online activity create lots of information that will be collected and looked at by this fintech organization. Clear? And businesses have a lots of leftover over information from everyday work, like what people are actually buying from their website, how much money each individual customer is spending, on which page they are staying the most. Clear? And their buying patterns, their historical buying patterns, anything which they add into the cart but not buying, do they require the credit card? Okay, so all these information the business houses are getting at the end of the day. Clear? And there are some tiny computers and sensors around us, like in our phones, in our cars, in our building. So they collect lots of information, like where we are, how we are, what we are doing, whom we are actually meeting. Clear? So all these devices are connecting together and make something, a term called Internet of Things. Means all these devices are connected and we will call it as Internet of Things. Clear? Now all these information together we call it as a big data. Now this data is very giant, it's very messy because it includes lots of information, and there is a proper library of digital information. So people use some tools and technique to actually sort out this data and find out something useful inside the data, so that they can make a better decision and understand the world in a very better way. So the data which businesses houses are left at the end of the day from all those customers activities, we call this as a corporate exhaust. Write down corporate exhaust. See, over here you don't have to analyze the big data, but yes, just have a basic understanding out of it. That's it. Now this big data is divided into three parts. Big data divided into three parts. Number one is your volume. Number one is your volume. Second is your velocity. Second is your velocity, and third one is your variety. Now I'll explain you each of the three: volume, velocity, and variety. Now volume stands based on the quantity, okay, the huge amount of data that is generated every day. Volume means how much amount of data do you have, like the photos which people are uploading on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter every day. Now the total size of these photos can really reach the terabytes and petabytes, so such a huge amount of data. So volume stands for the amount of data. Volume stands for the amount of data. Clear? Now next is the velocity. Velocity over here is that how fast new data is coming. Velocity stands for the speed. Velocity over here stands for the speed. How fast, how quickly this information is coming. Means if I'll give you an example of share market. So price of the stocks are changing every millisecond. Clear? Means there is a and these data is shared with the customers on a real time basis. Means if the price is changing, that is shown to you over your app, over your website immediately. That means there is a low latency. There is low latency. What is this latency stands for? Latency means in the NSE server, they change the price. How quickly it is coming to your mobile app. Okay, that share price currently the Reliance is trading at 2430. How quickly it changed to 0.10. How quickly this came to your mobile phone. The gap between the time it changed in the NSE server and it is coming to your mobile app, that gap is very small amount of time within which it is popping up in your screen. That means there is low latency. There is no lateness in the data which is showing up or popping up on your screen. Clear? But suppose I tell you about a blogging website, but that blogging website will have a high latency because every day they will not update, or every millisecond they are not going to update their articles, okay, their blogs. They take some time, like in a week they might be writing 4 or 5 articles, 4 or 5 blogs. So in this situation their latency is going to be high. So how quickly things are updating for the users, we call it as a latency. If it is fast, low latency. If it is slow, that means high latency. Clear? Now third one is variety. Variety means the type of the data. Sometimes you get the data which is organized, and sometimes you get the data which is not organized. Like if I'm saying organized, means you are getting the data in the form of tables or spreadsheets. Clear? Sometimes your data is very messy. It can be the photos, it can be the videos, it can be the reviews, it can be the address of few people, it can be the comment on the YouTube videos. So you will take the input from there as well. Clear? So structured data, you can imagine it in the form of Excel, okay, where there you have the clear rows and columns like name, address, phone number, everything is there. If I'll tell you about semi-structured data, okay, you can think a web page which has text as well as images as well as link, but it is not in the form of tables. But if I'll tell you about unstructured, imagine a video on the YouTube, okay, they will contain lots of information. They are not organized, okay, there are lots of comments, information, lots of likes, lots of dislikes, sharing is there or not. So all these informations are very important: volume, velocity, and variety. Clear? Now this topic is very theoretical in nature, so I'll try to keep small parts of this particular chapter. Once we will do a small part, we'll finish it and we will restart it again in the next lecture. Okay, so I'm ending the first lecture here and we will starting on with the next lecture. forward. Okay, thank you.